Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Greetings from Hamburg in Germany to Kiev in the Ukraine. My name is Peter Berger, and I'm very grateful that I have the chance to talk about producing digital content for local regional websites. Thank you to Alexander to give me the chance to bring my ideas to you. I will start immediately with a screencast, this mixture between PowerPoint presentation and showing some websites. Let's directly go to work. Also, I would like to give you only some information about me and my background. I'm in business since 35 years. I worked for all major publishing houses until I became editor-in-chief in the Financial Times Group, responsible for the digital strategy of Financial Times Germany. Let's start with a picture from the 50s. This is taken in a train in America. And you can imagine these times were easy for publisher because they earned a lot of money by printing paper with news. But the times has changed. Today, people read like that. So they use digital devices, and these digital devices have much more possibilities than printed paper. And this is for us as journalists and for us as media managers the biggest challenge we ever faced. And my opinion is, before we start thinking about producing content, producing videos, audio, slideshows or something like this, we should bring to the heads of our journalists two new points. Before we think about slideshows, audios and all these things, please have in mind that nowadays it's all about community. The classical reader belongs to the past. Today we have communities which we have to build and to engage with. So for example, if I bring a news to my reader, it's not enough anymore. I would like that the reader brings his information and his opinion back to me, so that I can build a fan community. A fan community like every singer does, like every celebrity does. Now all people who are with media have to think in this way. A situation which is completely unusual for us, but which is the reality by now. Second point is, it's all about mobile. Because these mobile devices tell me where is my reader, in which situation at the moment. And with this knowledge, I can deliver news for him and information for him, which really fit to the position where he is. And I can bring advertising to him regarding his position. And this is a completely new approach. And I would like to show you with the next slide, or the website, what a publishing house in Germany tries to do to build up a community and have in mind that mobile is so important. So this is the local website of a regional publishing house in Germany. It's located in Kassel, in the middle of my country. And you see it has the classical form. And here on the left you have the major news, national-wide, but here regional too, all about what happened in the area. On the right side you have additional information about weather, about what happens in the local area, and so on. This is the classical one, but it has a major disadvantage. There is no activity from the readers. There is not a real good Facebook integration. There is not the possibility to have a community feeling on this classical website. So the publishing house, by the way, the newspaper has a circulation from around about 150,000, decided and said, we need another one. And so because they don't want to make this all new and to skip this classical one, they build up a second one, which they called Kassel Live. So this is now their live websites for shorter breaking news. And here you see this is all optimized for communities. So very short news, which you can see good on a mobile, and immediately here an integration for all major networks. And people can engage very strongly. So by using some hashtags, which is one is called Kassel Live, they can use and choose and send their ideas. Here you see it. They can send their pictures and all these things to the editorial office directly. So the readers can engage with this site stronger than on the old site. And this is a first try. Then you have here webcams, you have here a regional where the flashlights are regarding persons who drive too fast. So all these more things which are optimized for mobile and for location based is done on this website. And so they see here they get the more younger people, here they get the older people. But maybe this is the past and maybe this is the future. I'm pretty sure we will see more of these experiments in the next time. So to produce mobile content which is attractive for your community, you have to make a shift in your newsroom. So we see that now we are going more and more to, as they call them, 3-layer newsrooms. So what does it mean, a 3-layer newsroom, to produce content for the mobile age? We have first a team or an editor who makes the breaking news, who is responsible for have breaking news as lot as possible on the site. So the reader wants now to know what happens now, and therefore we need someone who cares, by the way, by now 24/7. Another editor has to enrich the breaking news. So when the news comes in and says there is an accident who happened, then we have to think, okay, is it an unusual accident? Is there a story behind? Can we put videos to it? Can we do other things to it? So he has to enrich the breaking news. This is the second layer. And then we have a third layer. The third layer is to develop our own stories. So the classical idea of newsrooms doesn't work anymore. To make good regional news, we have to do it in a way like this, so that we work in layers. One team is for breaking news, one is enriching the most important breaking news, and one is developing their own stories. This is the way where we go. Now let's come to some more practical tips. First thing is, to optimize our content, we need possibilities to track how the users read our content. Here I have an example from the National Public Radio in America. They have built their own tracking device. So every editor can see which stories went well, which stories went bad, what were the top stories yesterday, from which devices were people using yesterday. And here, for example, very interesting, you see 50% came via desktop and 33% came via mobile and 17% came via tablet. So you can imagine that half of the readers by now come from mobile devices where you can track them. You don't have it to make like the National Public Radio in the US, who spent a lot of money. There are a lot of free tools on the market which you can use. Think only of Google Analytics, which is good for this. But the most important point is that when you want to have a good regional website, you have to find out what people really like. And the results are sometimes very, very interesting, because there will be content which you never ever thought it would be interesting, and the people will love it. So one thing is optimize content with tracking. Start looking what your people in your area really love, and this is the content which you can deliver. And by the way, this is probably the content which our advertisers interested in too. Another point is optimizing content with live blogging. You see an example from the Boston bombing, which was published on boston.com. They use a tool which makes them able to make live reportings so that people can watch immediately what is going on. There is another very good example from Europe, from Sweden, who make a lot of experience with this. It's called the Aftonbladet, and they have integrated the live blogging possibility in their normal website. So we are going more and more to do live things. And when you have a look here at this website, Scribble Live, there is one tool which a lot of publishing houses use when it comes to that. Some develop them by their own by now, but some others really use it. We have here case studies, and you see there are a lot of media houses like here use it. Here we have, by the way, our Boston.com. So to deliver breaking news in a more professional style, we need live blogging. So what else can we do to optimize our content for our regional website? One experience which we gained in the last month is, last half a year is that room is in the niche. So if you have niche which you can use, you get and can attract a lot of people, a lot of readers, a lot of fans, and a lot of advertisers. I will give you a little example which you can see here. This is a Belgium website. Maybe you know Le Soir, which is a very famous newspaper in Belgium. But what they discovered is that they get very strongly into niches with blogs. And so they have an own blogging site where they cover special items. For example, this is very strong with the hashtag 25. So this is a blog which is specially made for young people. And this blog is very strongly recommended between young people. So they develop a lot of blogs regarding niche content, saying this is important for us. And think of a regional newspaper. They have thousands of possibilities where they can cover niches. There are always items regarding the nature in your area, regarding the buildings in your area, regarding the economy in your area. So you can really build up these blogs for niches to attract readers and to attract advertisers. So one point which we see is optimizing for content, or optimizing content for niche for a special audience can attract on the whole a lot of readers. And you see it at Huffington Post, how many people they can get when they have some good ideas there. So Le Soir as one example. Another point is data journalism. We can use data for telling stories. We have here two examples, one from Poland, one from Great Britain. The big approach from Poland, the smaller approach from Great Britain. The Polish one has made an own website where they gather data and produce data which then can be used on websites. So they have something which is called big data, and on this website of big data they produce content especially which then can be used for websites. So this is a little fabric, a little manufacturing. This is a big approach and I don't want to cover it so strongly. But the smaller approach which you here see can be very interesting for us. This city council spends nearly 1 million on bed and breakfast rooms for Birmingham's homeless. So they discover stories by looking to Excel sheets, to government official websites. They get stories out of this. And this is an easy approach, by the way, which we or me just implemented in a lot of Serbian news websites. So we have a big project in Serbia regarding this item. How to make it possible to use these for reporting. And therefore we use some tools, and I would like to show you which tools we use. Only one which I will show you live. But here you see about Fusion Table. Fusion Table from Google is one tool where you can analyze data and where you can visualize data. Another tool which is very strongly, and I think I could show it you immediately, let's have a look, is Infogram. Infogram gives you the possibility to produce very easy and very fast charts like this here. So it's a web service which can be used very easily and gives you a lot of possibilities. Another one is Data Wrapper. Data Wrapper is a tool which you can try out on the online version very easily, and I will do it very, very quickly for you because it's not only about data, but I would like to show you how fast it works. This is your graphical interface. Here I put some data in. I upload and continue the data. I can describe the data here. I can press the button visualize it. Then I can refine the chart. I can tell the story. For example, I enter the title here. Marriages and so on. Press publish. And I immediately get a chart, an interactive chart in 2 seconds. So this was all. This was all to create an interactive chart when you use tools like Data Wrapper. So there are very, very many tools like this. Here, this tool is called ThinkLink. ThinkLink can make interactive images and videos. So you can use them to make interactive images and videos. So stepping into data journalism isn't as difficult. It needs some days training, and then people can use it when they find the data, if the data is possible to get in the special country, in the special area. So my last hint. We all want to get younger readers. But when we see the age of our newspaper readers, then we see it, at least in our country, that they are between 60 and 70 by now. When we see the readers on our websites, they're very often around about 50, 40. Yeah? And if we see our readers on Facebook or social media, they are by now over 30. So where do I get young readers? And there are some very interesting experiences made in the northern countries of Europe and in Great Britain. Let's have a look here on this slide. They make, in these countries, they try to get in contact with their young readers via chat apps, so Snapchat, WhatsApp, and so on. Here we see an example from Norway, which is very strongly here, which gives Snapchat videos to all people, to young subscribers, and they have gained some experience with that. Another example, and I think this is the best one in Europe as far as I know, is the Oxford Mail. So Oxford Mail sets to WhatsApp 3 times per day a sort of newsletter. So when young people subscribe to it, then they get 3 times per day a newsletter, and if they click then on the link, they get the whole story. So the challenge is to get young people that they subscribe to your WhatsApp telephone number, that they put your telephone number from your company in their address book. But I'm pretty sure, a lot of possibilities to manage this. But overall, the very young people or the younger people, we don't reach anymore about websites and all these things. At the moment, we reach them more on chat apps like WhatsApp. And I think this is a good way to try out, especially in your countries where you have much more younger people than in the old Europe part. So until now we have seen some ideas how to optimize the content for our regional website. But one question is left: what content attracts advertisers? It's hard to say from abroad what could be interesting for advertisers. But in general, there are some points which I would recommend. Let's have a look here. We have one very strong point compared with Facebook or all the other social networks. We can deliver credible content. Our content is made by journalists in a high quality manner. And this credibility attracts a lot of advertisers. So we should put out this strengthens this strong point to advertisers to make clear we are credible. And every advertiser wants to be in a surrounding which is credible. He's not interested in being part of a gamification way where his product is not used in a serious way. No, he wants to be credible content. So put this out to the advertiser. Secondly, I think the good old display advertising is back. We see that Facebook has now made an advertising network which bases on display advertising. And as far as we know, the people from Facebook, they have a strategy behind it. And so I think display advertising is still on the market. But we should put it in a context. So advertising in the context on the home page or a soft news page is one thing which we should think about. For example, when you have hard news, local hard news, regional hard news, people are not looking so strongly on advertising. Except it has to do with the item of the story. When I, for example, have a story about school children and the new school year is coming, then this is a very contextual, ideal area for an advertiser who wants to sell products regarding school children or for school children. So contextual, to find contextual ways for good old display advertising is a very good approach, especially on the homepage, especially on pages who have more or less soft news, not so hard news. Another way is I would try out native advertising. There are a lot of different experiences with this sort of advertising. And I'm pretty sure you talked about this in the other part of this conference where it is about financing websites. So native advertising, no one knows how the future will be. There are some like BuzzFeed who say it's very, very good. There are others who say no, it doesn't work. I would try it out, easy enough. What comes in the next future is real-time advertising. So to make a little example, the weather's changing, it's all raining the whole day. Then a lot of shops want to sell umbrellas. So can they really do it in real time? Is it possible to in real time to put advertising on a website? There are only a few ones, a very few ones who can do this at the moment, but they are stepping into the field, and I would have a very strong look about the development in this area. So real-time advertising with real-time content. I think these are the most strong things which come in the next 1, 2, 3 years. And for my possibility, I would like to stick first with old display advertising in contextual manner. I would, on second, try out native advertising. And on the long run, I would now start to make my first step in real-time advertising, looking how it works, what possibilities are on the market, and this combined with real-time content. I know it's a huge area, it's a lot to do, and it needs a lot of knowledge, but this is what we have to do. Knowledge. We have to know more about all these things, more than I can give in 20 minutes and more than I know. So we have to know about these things more and more. And I would like to finish my little presentation with a little hint. The Deutsche Welle Academy, which I work for, is planning special workshops for Ukraine media manager and journalists. So if media manager want to join these courses or journalists want to join these courses, they can get in contact with Deutsche Welle Academy to be member of them. I think Alexander knows more and more about this because he's member of the board who is deciding how this works. So maybe you can get there more information. I would really strongly recommend because they will touch all the items which we just talked about. That's it from my side, and hopefully we will meet in some minutes via Skype if the internet connection will work. If she works, I'm really happy to listen to your questions, and I will try my best to answer them if I can. Thanks a lot.